Okay, so we all know time is clicking, and so we want to find out whether you can still improve your test scores in the last month. And the answer obviously is yes, otherwise we won't be here today, right? Okay, so before we tell you the things that we think you can do, or we can do together to help you improve your score, let's first have a correct understanding of what SAT really is. And we all know that SAT is a national standardized test. But what does it mean actually? Here are some good and the bad sides about being a national standardized test. Okay, that's a standard test means that cannot be very difficult. For students, you have learned everything you need to know to do well in SAT test. It has to be fair, and so that means all high school students in the U.S. have to be able to do well in SAT test, regardless whether you had chance to take AP or other advanced courses. And all the students should do well. And also, being a national standardized test, you should get a similar score, regardless when you take a test. Whether you take a test in October, November, or December, you should get a similar score. That means there's a pattern that repeats itself. By studying the pattern, we know we can prepare for the test. By how we know the pattern, we're going to look at the real SAT test, which had been administered in the past. We study these patterns, and we share with you. But there's some catch about being a national standardized test. Still, college have to use this test to select their students. If every student can do well, then there's no way for the college to pick who to choose. To make the selection, the test actually is kind of weird. How is it weird? It's very different from the test students usually do at school. Now, we have seen many students, they told us they do very well at school, they are straight A students. But when they see the SAT test, they say, wow, why the question is asked this way? And I have never seen questions being asked this way. That's right. That's how College Board designs the test. It designs to be, they ask you the question a different way. So only students who have done correct preparation can do well. They can fully realize their potential in the AC test. Okay, so like Joe mentioned earlier, we're going to look at all the SAT subjects, but we start with math. Okay, so in order to do well in SAT math, you need to be a very good problem solver. College Board specifically says that they want to pick students who are good problem solvers. They think these students are ready for college. So what means being a good problem solver? I give you suggestions on how you can improve yourself and make sure that you are doing well in SAT math. But I break that into two parts. And we start with the preparation stage. That's where the students are right now. How to prepare? You need to practice regularly. I recommend you to practice at least 30 days every day. Okay, and the 30 days should include both doing the test and also examining your mistake, which I'm going to emphasize later on. And other than doing the regular practice, you need to do at least 4 mock tests before your real day. Again, if I give you unlimited time to work on test, I'm sure most students can do very well. And if you are a very strong student, you can do very well. However, in the mock test, you have to spend about 4 hours, almost with non-stop, only 10 minutes break between all the previous sessions and the essay. You have 10 minutes break. Otherwise, basically no stop. You have to continue working. Very rarely a student will take more than 3 hours working on one test. It's very different. In order to train your body to get used to such intensive test, you need to go through a mock test just to get your body prepared. Okay, the third part, the most students don't do that well, because they usually are satisfied with knowing how to solve the problem. That's right, you need to know how to solve the problem correctly. However, for the timed test, that's not enough. In addition to knowing how to solve the problem correctly, you need to know how to solve the problem quickly within the very tight limit. Okay, and for SAT math, we know that you have on average, about 1 minute and 15 seconds to solve each question. And if you want to leave some time for double checking answer, that means you only have on average 1 minute to solve each problem. Okay, so for both parts, and later I'm going to tell you what if you have trade-off between accuracy and the speed. But in order to do well, in order to achieve very high score or perfect score in SAT math, don't be satisfied with knowing how to solve the problem. Also learn how to solve the problem quickly. Now, during the preparation stage, usually when you're doing the practice, and always ask yourself, even if you know how to solve the problem correctly, ask yourself whether there's a better way to solve this problem. Better meaning quicker. Okay, quicker way to solve this problem. And during the practice, I don't want you to do practice for the sake of doing the practice. You do the practice because you want to improve, right? So every time you already spend time doing the practice, after practice you want to learn something from your practice. So how can you learn from your practice? You need to study and learn from a mistake. So when I said earlier that you need to reserve at least 30 minutes doing the practice, try to reserve some time for you to study your mistake. And ask yourself why you made a mistake. Is that a careless mistake? I have heard many times students told me, it's a careless mistake. Okay, if you made this mistake 1 or 2 times, yes, that's probably a careless mistake. But if you repeat such a careless mistake, it's no longer a careless mistake. You have a bad habit. Okay, if you keep that habit in your SAT test, it's gonna bite you, right? And if you make careless mistake, who cares? We don't know why you lose a point, whether that's because careless mistake or because you don't know solve the problem, right? And in the eyes of college admission officer, it's no difference whether it's careless mistake or because you don't know how to solve the problem. Okay, so don't overlook careless mistake. Okay, during the test, and so I'm just throwing that now, although you're not taking the test, but since it's so close, it's better to tell you now. And you need to pace yourself well. We all know that in order to do a test, in order to do well in a test, you need to pace yourself well, just like you're running a marathon. SAT test is really like a marathon. It's a kind of long and stressful test. It's like a marathon. In order to do well, you need to pace yourself. What does that mean? Okay, even your score, target score is 800, you still need to learn to skip questions if a question is taking you too long. Right? Don't say, okay, I cannot skip this because I skip this, I'm gonna lose this. I'm gonna lose point. I cannot get 800. Okay, that's true. However, still skip. If you don't know how to solve a problem, or it takes you too long to solve a problem, you're definitely using the wrong approach. Like I told you, when I do SAT problem, it actually takes me at most 30 seconds for each problem. If you are spending more than 1 minute solving a problem, you are using the wrong approach. You are not using the approach the question was designed for. Skip it. After you finish all the other questions, come back. Maybe you will have a refreshed mind during the time. You may think the problem differently. Okay, don't get stuck with that problem. It's gonna hurt you. You will soon run out of time. And a very important characteristic being a good problem solver is that when you encounter an unfamiliar problem, you can relate that with a familiar one. I told you SAT is a standardized test. You have learned everything you need to know to solve this problem. If a problem looks so weird to you or so remote to you, trust yourself, you have learned everything you know to solve that problem. Your job is to figure out, to link the unfamiliar part to the part you already know. If you can draw the linkage, you will solve the problem. I can guarantee you, no matter how many practice you've done for SAT, you definitely will see some problem that you have never seen before. Okay, so that difference, the 750 from the 800. 800 students can see the linkage, 750 will not. But this problem will not be a lot. Okay, most of the problems are familiar to you already. But if you want to get 800, you really need to work on this. And that's very important when you get into college, right? In college, the college professor will always give you projects nobody had done before, you had never done before, right? So you need to utilize the knowledge you have learned to solve an unfamiliar problem. And College Board also tells you, and we have seen that in the real SAT, you definitely will see more complicated multi-step problem. If it's a multi-step problem, that means you cannot solve the problem with one step. Okay, don't even try to solve the problem with a single step. You will not be able to solve the problem. So your job is to divide this complicated problem into multiple pieces. Try to conquer each piece separately and put them together. That's how you're going to solve the multi-step problem. So when you see a problem that looks so complicated, don't panic. Just break it apart. Okay, and tackle each small piece separately and put them together, and you will be able to solve this problem. And I mentioned that earlier that in order to do well in SAT, and you have to maintain your accuracy while solving the problem quickly. Okay, and this sounds so like too obvious to tell you. You need to solve the right problem, but believe it or not, I have seen so many students, even very advanced students, they made mistakes because they solved the wrong problem. They misread the problem. They misunderstood the problem. That happens very often in SAT math. Why? I told you earlier, SAT test is a very weird test. You are very familiar with how your teacher at school would ask you. You are not familiar with how college board will ask you. But if you read problem too fast, you're gonna miss some important word. If you miss that word, you will solve the wrong problem. Obviously, answer will be wrong. Okay. And finally, in order to get very high score in SAT math, you always have to double check answers. You have to leave time to double check answers. And the SAT math is placed after SAT read English and writing, and that means after 100 minutes into the test, you get into the SAT math portion, and math itself has 80 minutes. Okay, and I think it's very understandable that your body is very tired at that point. So it's very likely you're gonna make a couple of mistakes, unintentionally. All right, you know how to solve the problem. Just because your body is tired, you make mistakes. How can you capture these mistakes? Leave some time to double check answers. Okay, and I'm not gonna ask you to do all the math problem. I just want to throw you this problem to kind of illustrate how twisted a problem can be in SAT math. And this is revised from a real old SAT problem. Okay, so while you're reading the problem, you're basically saying, assuming that you're taking some ride, and the ride composed different parts. The driver charged $4 for the first quarter mile, plus $1.5 for each additional half mile, and then you need to come up with an inequality to represent the time, and the cost represent the miles that you could ride and pay no more than $10. While you're reading, you need to underscore the sentences that contain mathematical meanings, like the numbers, and then here are the words that students tend to overlook. This problem itself is not difficult, but most of my students who work on this problem miss either this part or this part or both. Okay, so we know that this first quarter, so we have to subtract 1/4 from m, and then once you get to the second part, you need to divide that by a half. So the problem is kind of very twisted. It tests you how well you can, how careful you are reading the problem. Okay, so here was what I mentioned earlier, a trade-off between speed and accuracy. We know that in SAT test or in any test, you are rewarded for accuracy, not for speed. Okay, if you have to trade off between the two, improve your accuracy, not by improving your speed. But we want to learn how we can balance the two, right? We want to maintain our accuracy at the same time improve our speed. Well, basically two ways, whether by reading the problem fast or solving the problem fast. But probably when you do your test at school, you can try both. But for SAT, I'm gonna tell you, don't do this. Okay, the reason is that the problems are full of traps. If you read the problem too fast, you're gonna miss some important words like the one I just showed you. So your job or your task is to learn how to solve problem fast. Read the problem actually carefully, slow down. Read the problem carefully, making sure that you have read all the important pieces for the part. And then learn the strategies that you can use to solve your problem fast. Okay, so today I'm just show you some of the strategies that you can use to solve your problem fast. We know that in SAT math, 80% of questions are multiple choice. That's really a good news because solving a multiple choice problem is always easier than solving a grade-in problem. Okay, for those who don't know the term, grade-in is the other 20% of the SAT math problem. And for this question, you have to produce your own answer. There's no choice to guide you. Now, for multiple choice questions, one of the choices must be the correct answer. It's just in front of you. The right answer is in front of you, but it's just mixed with three other wrong choices. Your job is to pick the right choice, not to produce the right choice. Okay, that's your job for multiple choice. What does that mean in action? For a multiple choice question, after you have read through the problems carefully, okay, making sure you read the problem, you had a correct understanding of the problem, what the problem is asking, study the choices before you decide how to solve the problem. Now sometimes the choices are so obvious you can clearly see the pattern, and then you decide how to solve the problem. I'm going to show you two examples. The first example, this is also revised from the real old SAT problem. Now, most students, when they first see this problem, oh, that's an algebra expression problem. I need to solve this equation to produce my answer. Wrong. Okay? You actually should, if you look at choices, you actually can go back. And without advanced math, we know that 6 cannot be the answer because 6 will make this denominator 0. Okay? So all the choices that contain 6 must be wrong. B and C are gone. So what have only left is A and D. Now typically D won't be correct. Okay, so how can I make sure that A is correct? Now I just plug in -1 into that equation. So by now we are not solving this complicated algebra problem. We are actually solving a arithmetic problem. If calculus is allowed, you can simply plug in -1 into that equation and punch your calculator, and it will tell you -1 is the answer. Okay. So before you jump in solving the problem algebraically or using the mathematical approach your teachers want you to use, study the choices. Okay, that's from the old SAT. Let's look at now the new SAT. Okay, this is taken from the official guide practice 3, and this is the problem. Now it gives you a table with 4 pairs of x and fx, and ask you which of the equations actually can use to model the data here. Okay, again, before you're attempting to plug in all the pair like x and fx into the equation and check one by one, see which one is correct, look at answer choices. Now how they are different? They have exactly the first part, exactly the same first part. That means they have the same slope. What is different is the last portion. And now for students, you should know the last portion is called y-intercept. What is y-intercept? That means y equals 0. So that's 4. Okay, so you know that. Just a couple of seconds, you know this must be the correct answer. Okay, so this is what Algebra tells us. The strong emphasis placed in the new SAT math. And the new SAT has increased its emphasis in algebra. In actually algebra altogether, the nonlinear algebra and the linear algebra combined accounts for 60% of all SAT problems. Especially it tells you it wants you to have very strong algebraic thinking. And the things we know for sure will appear in your SAT test are these type of problems. And then you will see exponential problems, exponential functions. But during the last 3 new SAT tests, March, May, and June, we know in each test, quadratic functions have appeared at least twice in each test, even more. Okay, 2 or more than 2 for each test. So we know this is the emphasis now. For quadratic functions, you need to learn how to find the roots, but itself is not enough. We all know how to find the roots if you know the quadratic formula. Okay, we know how to find the roots. That's not enough. And most of the time, you need to have a very solid understanding of the important properties of roots and how to interpret the graph of a quadratic function, which is called a parabola. For example, parabola is symmetric around the x coordinates vertex. Okay, these things you have to memorize by heart and then know how to apply them flexibly in order to solve quadratic function problem. And for the algebra expressions, the one I just showed you, you need to know how to manipulate and solve complicated algebra expressions. And usually that involves doing the complete square to factorize the expression. Okay, these are the things algebra tells us you need to know. However, that doesn't necessarily mean this is only approach you can use to solve this problem. Like the example I just showed you a couple slides earlier, you don't really need to use that part, right? You simply plug your answer back to the question and solve the problem. Okay. And like I mentioned earlier, that in SAT math, you definitely will see multi-step long problems with real-world settings. And if a problem is very long, it doesn't necessarily mean it's complicated. It simply means it's long. Okay, that means it has more words. But most of the time, if you examine the long word problems, you'll notice that it is because long, it actually simply because it gives you a lot of background information. We know that for math portion, you don't really need to care about sentences that have no mathematical meaning. Yeah, you only need to care about the sentences with equations or that represent some pictures. That's the part you need to focus on. For the parts that have no mathematical meaning, you just skim through that. Don't even pay attention. Okay. So extract mathematical meanings, and also if it is multi-step, take bite-sized pieces one at a time. But don't try to swallow the entire problem. You will not be able to solve the problem correctly. Also, if we notice that the problem can become very tricky, it throw in different units. So for example, it may mention minutes and hours all together in one problem. If you don't read the problem carefully, and you're gonna kind of mix all the different units, then you solve the problem wrong. Okay, data interpretation, that's another part that has been placed a strong emphasis in the new SAT. For data interpretation, we need to learn to interpret data graphs, and data can be presented in tables or graphs. In tables, you are already familiar with, but in graphs, probably some students are not familiar with that part. Okay, and for statistical measure, for example, mean, median, mode, standard deviation, you need to know not only how to calculate these measures, but also know your statistical units. And finally, we noticed that in recently in the new SAT math, they try to mix probability and the conditional probability. So you need to make a right decision or make the right assessment in terms of whether the problem has to solve a probability or conditional probability. You need to look at a few keywords that differentiates probability and the conditional probability. Okay, so here I'm going to show you two examples which are taken from, again, official guide practice 3, just to illustrate you how you're going to tackle a very long word problem. And also you're going to see paired math problems in SAT. This is one paired problem, but I only ask you to solve. I only show you the one of the 17. That's a very long problem. Okay, but good news is that whenever you see an equation or a graph, these are the most important part. First, look at the equation. So when I approach this problem, I can say, oh wow, there are two equations. I just quickly skim through the passage and then zoom in the part that talks about these two equations. So that tells you the first part, the first half of the question is probably irrelevant, or at least I don't need to know. Okay, I don't need to pay attention to it. So I start from reading here. It says, what is SP? SP gives you, basically tells you, SP gives you the supply. Right. Actually, I have the highlight here. So SP gives you the quantity of the product supplied to the market with the price of P. Okay, SP gives me the supply, P is the price. And the DP gives me the quantity of product demanded by the market. So DP is demand, P is the price. Okay, go to the question. We ask for how well the quantity of the product supplied to the market. Okay. That asks for supply, so that's this equation, right? And that says when P equals when if the price of the product is increased by $10. So look at this equation only. When P increased by 10, half of 10 is 5. So SP increased by 5, which answer gives you this? B. Okay? So whenever a problem is very long, but it gives you an equation, this is all you need to know. The equation as well as the explanation of the equation. That's all you need to know to solve this problem. Blah, 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 half the problem actually, you don't even need to read this part. Okay, one more example. This is another long problem. And this problem is actually the last two, one of the last two problems in the calculus section. And you know this is the most difficult question in the SAT math portion. Calculator section is always more difficult than the non-calculator section, and the last two problems in the calculator section are the most difficult ones. Okay, so even with the difficult ones, again, it's difficult. It doesn't necessarily mean it's mathematically difficult. It doesn't mean it looks complicated. Look at the problem so long, the question is so long. Okay, but let's use our trick. It mentions an equation, right? When you quickly read this, you may want to read this, but instead you use the equation. Now you know that. You probably want to make sure you understand what this equation means. So it gives you an equation, and it mentions three variables, n, r, and t. So what is n? N says it's the average number of shoppers in the store. Okay, what is r? And r mentioned in the first sentence. It says average rate of r shoppers per minute. Okay, and that involves unit. I want to make sure that I write a unit, shoppers per minute. And what is t? Is right here. It says average minute, average time of 2 minutes per shopper. So put the minute here. Okay, then if you read this part, basically it repeats itself. It basically says when r equals 3, t equals 15, what you get is 45. And everyone knows that when you know the equation. So not important anymore. Read it once, forget about it. And then go to the question. And the blah blah is very long, and until you get to the portion, the sentence that mentions number, you can skip through that. You can read very carefully, very quickly. So this part, you don't really, just read it one more time and forget about it, that's fine, it will not affect you. But once you get into the 84, okay, slow down. It mentions number now. It says 84 shoppers per hour. Okay, tricky part comes in. It says an hour. And I remember that I just put a minute. Okay, I don't want to leave 2 units in the same problem. I want to convert that to a minute. So I have to convert that to 84 divided by 60 to get the number of shoppers per minute. And then if you keep reading, next sentence give you the average time. It says 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes per shopper, and ask you what's the like any time during this business hours about how many shoppers on average are waiting in the checkout line. Okay, everything I know is right here. The answer for n, given that r is 84 divided by 60, t is 5. Multiply these two together, you get the answer. Okay, that's the answer for this problem. Very easy, right? And probably a elementary kid can do this. That's just a multiplication. But all you have to do is to take different pieces, the mathematical part, and to put this together. That's the equation you need. You may be surprised after we spend so much time going through a problem, and that's a very easy calculation. Okay? Alright, so that's about the math part, and I have a dream to take over to talk about the English portion.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. I think it's too serious. Everybody, so do you know what is her name? Okay, because she forgot to introduce herself, right? Okay, 我来介绍一下刘艳老师啊，她已经当那个大学教授当了10多年了，虽然看着很年轻，比我还小，但是她已经2个孩子妈妈，大孩子都已经这么高了哈，所以说她忘了介绍了。OK， 那么 Dr. Yan 呢，她也是专门在这个之前是在 Stanford 那个 PhD graduate， 然后后来呢，她在 Coursera， 然后再后来呢，这个就是被我的这种就是对 education 的这种 passion 所感召，然后我们就现在 work together as a team to help those kids to, get high score of SAT, ACT, and we feel like super good when we got the good news, like they got the full score, they got like improve a lot, we really like it, we really enjoy a lot, okay? 好，那么接下来我来说一说 SAT 的 reading 部分，就没有理科那么 serious 了哈。然后所以说我看到所有人的脸都是这样子的看数学，可能是OK， 让我们稍微 relax 一下。OK，so for SAT reading, I think that's a big headache for most of the kids. Okay, even a lot of like native speaker. Okay, well everybody is a speaker, but I'm saying like the white kids or Indian kids or like all different color of kids. Okay, why they read a lot every day? They like reading fiction, they like reading newspaper. Why they go into the SAT, ACT test and they cannot get a very high score? We need to know that. And especially the last month, okay? How are we going to figure out in the last month? Is there still any chance? The answer is yes, right? Okay, so first I want you to remember the goal decide how you're going to crack this kind of, test. So who want to get a full score, like a perfect score? Okay, is there anybody? No? Well, you can, Well, the thing is, if you want to get full score, that's a little bit hard because you have to make sure every question is correct, okay? And sometimes you need some luck, okay? However, if you don't want to shoot for the high score, the full score, you just want like almost the full score, but not exactly the perfect score, it's way easier, okay? It's way easier. That means for some question which take too much time and effort and you still cannot get the right answer, you just give it up. Okay? Because you want to spend your time on those valuable one or easy one. So that's why I say, if you want to just, like doing the fiction part, and you just do it. If you like the science part, just do the science first. So how much you want to get, decide how you're going to do the whole reading section. So let's say we're going to read all the section as a whole plan. Okay? Alright, so this is the 5 things you need to do in this last month. Okay? The first one. Time yourself, okay? So Dr. Yan has already told us like how we can balance the time and accuracy, right? But I want to say you really have to, time yourself because for reading section, a lot of kids told me they cannot finish. They just cannot finish. If you give like double time, okay, they can get all correct. So can we apply for double time? Yes, you can, but you have to prove you're kind of, different, special kid or something. You can have like triple time or whatever, okay? But the thing is, if you're a normal kid, okay, so you have to finish in a certain time, okay? The second one, review all the mistakes. I'm sure a lot of kids, they already finished kind of like practice. So those mistakes, you have to put them together to figure out, to review it, and to think about why you made a mistake, okay? Sometimes you need to ask help. You need our help. You need us to help you guys to figure out why you made a mistake. Sometimes you have to do it by yourself, okay? So only work on your weak question types. For example, so some of my students, they're very weak on the main idea question, or reference question, or inference question, or data graphic or something. So you only work on your weak question type. Don't just go through over and over again because you don't want to spend your time, just to repeat the right answer, repeat the right question, and then repeat the mistake, same, And the 4 is like recall the process. Okay, you have to think about why you made a mistake. Okay, how you correct that question. Okay, so either you tell me and let me figure out like, wait, stop. Here is where you make the wrong turn. Okay, or you just write it down and think by yourself. All right. So the last one but not least, figure out what you need to be aware of. Because some of kids, they just can never find a topic sentence. And they have no idea what topic sentence mean for going through all the questions. But I would say, if you don't get the main point, don't figure out the topic sentence, it's so hard for you to rule out answer choices which is off topic, okay? So I'm going to tell you more examples. So how to speed up? How to speed up? This is like the issue for most of kids, okay? So I would say, speed up is not reading faster or as fast as you can. It's not like that, okay? Because Dr. Yin already told everybody. So if you read faster, you're going to miss so many, like the important detail or something like that. So when I say speed up, I say skim effectively, okay? So these are things like I just tried to show some example here. Maybe you can just write it down or go back and just combine your, practice and just see if it's true or not, okay? So first, I want to make sure circle any words or phrases indicate the author is making a point, okay? So I don't think people like doing that because all the kids just reading and reading, just reading like every day, right? Just reading like newspaper. They don't want to highlight the point, you know. But the thing is, all the the important detail or information they shows when the writer is making a point, and all the question is about those kind of points. Okay. So for example, when they say the point is in the essay or in the source, so some question going to show up for sure. Or when they say important, okay, so when the writers say important, it is important. There's no trick, okay? You have to pay attention to that. So the second one, you have to recognize when an argument change or when a new important information be introduced. For example, okay, so everybody knows you have to pay attention to the transition. However, therefore, you have to pay attention, right? But how many of the students they pay attention to the punctuation? For example, you have to remember all the information after dash, they are important. All the information after dash, they are important, okay? Or how many of you notice the strong language, usually they are really important to help you find out the right answer. For example, only, never, most, those kind of extreme words, okay? Okay, because there's two rules. I remember in the first lecture I told you. In the answer choices, if they give you the extreme word, they're not the right answer, okay? However, in the passage, if they give you the extreme words, there must be a question about it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And then explanation words, for example, answer, explain, reason, they must have question about it, okay? All right, so if we remember this, and we need to think about it, how we speed up. Besides we notice those kind of important transitions, punctuations, we need to think about why those kind of passages are so boring for the kids, okay? So a lot of students, they're from Palo High School, Gang High, Cupertino High, or Hucker, they're smart kids, but they say, well, for the passage, I'm interested in it. I'm okay, so I can get all right. But some passage, I just don't like it. I'm not interested. So they're too boring, and I cannot get right. So instead of telling them hey, just, you cannot just, have to put away your ego, has just work on it, I told them, you have to take the passage as a conversation. That will make everything different. Okay, for example, have you ever heard about they say and I say? What is they say, what is I say? I assume everybody reads so many argumentative essay or source newspaper every day. So every passage, okay, they can divide into two parts. One is they say, the other one is I say. When I say they say, you can notice this type of clue in the passages. Some people or scientists or whatever, whoever, okay, believe. Or many people think, blah, 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 okay. Or they say, traditionally people have believed that, blah, blah, blah. So all those kind of clues shows that's nothing connected to the writer's opinion, okay? So basically, those are the information easy to make you feel confused, Especially when they give you the question and then they give you the answer choices. They all give you the information pull out from here, okay? So if your boy or girl just try to bring the answer choices, go back to the passage, try to find the evidence, bingo, they can find it right here. And then they choose it. They say, they mentioned. Exactly, they mentioned. But that's not the writer's thinking, okay? So what I need to really focus on is I say. So, which I told many kids, I said, if you focus on those type of clues, and this clues shows the important information here. Okay, I can tell I raise your attention, right? Because everybody's showing the camera. So make sure I'm inside of camera, okay? All right, thank you. Okay. So I say you can show this all question, all the right answer, okay? They are all the information, okay? So in that situation, some kids ask me, so I just skip they say. I just directly read I say, that's fine, right? Well, not really, because they may have some exception, right? But what you can do is, when you read they say, you try to predict what is the writer's opinion. Because the writer's opinion will be virtually opposite of what they write here, right? So when you're going to read I say, it's going to be, right, emphasize, wrinkle, right? So that is important part you have to focus on. So the only part you read this part can just speed up and also skim effectively. Okay? So in the last month, I want you guys to work on that part to make the passage to be a conversation. Okay? Alright. So another one, I just put out all the details and I try to, remind you guys for the last month. The first one, put your finger on the page or pencil or whatever, okay? So, and underline as you read. So when I say that, it means I want the students to build up the physical connection between the passage and your brain, okay? So we all know that when we read like this, we jump, okay? We jump from words to words. Especially in the very, rush time, you have, stress, and the stress gonna make your memory go bananas, right? So what you need to do right now is make the physical connection. Try to, point every line to make sure you won't miss any important information. The second one, be as literal as you possibly can. So that's why you can find out those punctuation, those transitions, those they say, those I say. That's why you can find it. The third one, every passage has two authors. The author passage, the author of text, okay? So you need to read both of them. That's why you can not only enjoy the passage, you have to think about it. What will the test designer gonna choose, okay? So what will the test designer gonna choose? That's why whenever you're in doubt, you have always think about it. Okay, so what if I'm gonna write the test? Which one will be the, possible the right answer, okay? So abandon your ego. This is very important, okay? Because we worked on with one kid in the summer. It's very interesting. He's super smart, but he's always complaining about SAT, SAT. He's like, SAT stupid, okay? Because according to my knowledge and background, I choose C, but C is not right answer, which is not, it's weird. It doesn't make sense. So I told many of students, I say, remember, don't let your knowledge influence you, okay? So you just get out of your brain, and then you want to put the writer's brain in your head. And then you want to think exactly what the writer want to, actually say about things, okay? So be willing to consider this test may break its own rules. Okay, even I told you I say, they say, but sometimes they give you historical document or something happened like 200 years ago, and there's no clue and a lot of awkward word, you have no idea. At that moment, you have to, slow down and get ready, because they may break their own rules. They may not give you any kind of argument or clear structured passages, okay? So every word in answer choices count. This is I repeat it all the time. Like the Dr. Yan said, every time you read answer choices, you need to read word by word. But when you read the passages, you need to skip effectively. You know what I'm saying? Okay, great. All right. So if something confuses you, ignore it. Focus on what you understand. This is very important. Okay? So because I noticed when I'm doing the one-on-one student, I noticed some kids, when they don't understand the sentence, they go back. They read again. They read again, they read again, they stuck there. And they have no idea what's going on. And they want to figure out, okay? That's good in the daily life, but not in the test. So you don't understand? You don't understand, okay? You only focus on the part you understand, you can conquer 90% of the question, okay? So fit the answer to the passage, not passage to the answer. Same thing I just mentioned, okay? Just try to put it here. And don't even read it, just half sentence and just make your decision, okay? Read the full sentence. And when in doubt, reread end of conclusion. Here, I want to emphasize, okay? So I said whenever you're in doubt, you have to focus on what is the writer want to tell you, right? So what are we going to do if I forgot after I read everything, okay? Do you have the same feeling? After you read the passage, and then you forgot what they say. So when you go to the question, you have to go back to look for the answer, right? So whenever you're in doubt, go to read only the last paragraph. Because we all know they gonna repeat the main point again in the end. Okay? Alright, the last one is make some notes may help you. Okay, so for example, I usually show one of my students, I say, for example, you can say something like this. Okay? So what does that mean? Who knows? Nobody knows, only you, okay? So maybe in that paragraph they talk about Clovis people are not the first inhabitants of America. You just write there. The whole paragraph meaning, you just make notes. So when you go back to check, you know exactly what. You know exactly what is the main point. You don't need to reread again, okay? So that just depends on if you have the habit or not. If not, last month, try it out, okay? Alright, now I want to talk about SAT writing. Okay, so reading, writing, basically they're similar. It's just different question type. Reading give you many passages, answer question, and writing part they give you a passage, read it, answer different question. So actually, writing section is something between the reading and essay section. Okay, because essay become optional, right? That's why they want to make to be the writing to be kind of half reading, half writing. So they want you to edit one source. They want you to edit one source. All right. So focus on these two type of question. So I listed 4 here, but actually there are 2. So the first one we call it big picture question. So even they are writing question, but they still ask you if you think they should put a sentence here or delete it. If delete it, why? If insert it, yes or why? Okay. So that means they want you to focus on what is the whole paragraph talk about. Okay. Or sometimes they give you one word. They ask you, say, the writer want to choose that word. So that word should fit in the paragraph. Yes, which one? Okay. So actually, they're not asking about a word. They're asking about the whole idea. Okay. So try to focus on those mistakes you made, and tell yourself which part you need to work on more. Either big picture question or small picture question. Okay? So because the writing section is really easy for most of kids. Okay? And however, the mistake usually around 3 to 10. Okay? If you're terrible, maybe around 10. If you're like work harder, maybe still 3, sometimes a little bit more, 4, something like that. Okay? So how to really get everything correct? Okay? So my suggestion is, don't think sounds right is right. You have to go back. There's 2 ways for you to check. Parallel structure. There's always a clue somewhere, either before or after. That's the question. Okay? So find out the parallel structure. Show you where is the clue, where is the answer is. So the other one, don't just choose for nothing. Focus on the big picture. What's the meaning of the whole passages? Okay? You know what I'm saying, right? Yes? Okay, good. All right, now I want to jump to the SAT essay. Okay, I saw some people, they're sleepy, okay? The parents sleepy. So I want to share with you something. Because in the summer, we have 4 hours test, okay? 4 hours classes. And some parents, they come here, they say, well, it's too long, my kids cannot handle, they're so young, they need sleep or something like that. And then I find out one of the reasons, very tricky. So if I give the test, as SAT mock test or ACT mock test, in the afternoon or evening, they can get like 30 more than usually they get the score. Okay? Which means, why they just put the SAT in the morning? Because they want to know the real you when you're sleepy. Okay? Here, where are we gonna go? Okay? I want to know the real you when you're sleepy. Okay? Let's see if you can remember all of this. Okay? So the essay part. The essay part, you have to make sure there's 4 points. Okay? So if the parents are here, you can just share with your kids, or maybe we can make a phone call to talk specifically about his pain point. Okay? 每个孩子都不一样，所以说我就说一些比较 common 的一些东西哈，因为每个孩子的这个点都不太一样。可能一直说英语会觉得很困哈。那就是我在暑假的时候遇到一些孩子，这都是跟家长来分享的，就是说有的这个孩子呢，他的这个作文呢是实在是不知道该怎么下笔，他在这个读完文章和写之间会花很长时间，就我们要观察孩子属于哪种情况。那有一种是属于呢，就是很快就写完了。但写到中间的时候呢，就是可能就卡住了，或者快结束的时候卡住了，这是另外一种情况。还有一种呢，就是一看就写，然后哗哗就写完了，但就是拿不到高分，这是第3种情况。那其实呢，你会发现这几种情况呢，每一种情况都是反映着不一样的这个部分是需要提高的部分。所以说呢，在我们就是陪孩子度过这个备考的过程中，也可以帮助他去 figure out 一下。那我也知道很多家长有时候说孩子的时候，孩子不愿意听，是吧？然后所以就会偷偷告诉我说你帮我告诉他，因为他不听我的，所以我让你帮我告诉他。那其实我觉得有一种办法可以让他听你的，就是说你比他更权威，对吧？当他在哪个地方 stuck 住的时候，你告诉他，如果看到文章写不出来，花很长时间，那是因为你的阅读分析能力需要提高。OK， 这个时候是卡在这儿了。如果你能写出一半写不下去了，那说明你特别容易写出很 vague 的文章。 对你缺乏 detail， 很难联系在一起去。那如果是这个呼呼就写完了，但是分不高，那就是说明就是主要是在应付，就是基本上自个儿也不知道写什么，而且我保证他的文章中一定有很多句子是什么呀？是前面重复后面的，后面重复前面的，基本都是那一个意思，说来说去，对吧？当然你能指出他点的时候，他虽然很生气，但是我觉得他应该是服你的哈，他应该是服你的。OK, alright. So the 4 points. The first one, make sure you're familiar with different type of sources. We know the SAT. The SAT writing, they give you the source, as you read it, and then you to write the essay, right? So make sure you're familiar with the different type of sources. When I say different type, I'm saying about like education, economics, those kind of things. And it also means different structure. Sometimes they give you, claim directly. Sometimes they insert claim into the second paragraph. Sometimes there's no claim. You have to summarize or paraphrase by yourself. So just read as many as you can, okay? So New York Times, Los Angeles Times, if you want to have more source, you can just ask me. I can share with some of my reading source with you, okay? So the second one, make sure you remember all the rhetorical terms and knowing how to analyze them, okay? So rhetorical terms, you have to remember. Remember and write it down. So I'm sure there must be some number in the passage. Just put it out. You're talking about a statistics. You know what I mean? Alright, make sure you know how to summarize a passage or paraphrase it. This is the hardest part. The kids who cannot get down or keep going writing is because it's so hard for them to paraphrase it, okay? So they will like to repeat the same thing, and after finish they have no words, they have no sentence to write about it. So they need to summarize, okay? So make sure you are focusing on the big picture of the passage. That's the same thing. You have no idea. You write about it, then in the end, you have no idea what you're writing about, right? You have to always recall what is the main idea of this passage, okay? Alright, good. So here I want to give one of the short, example for the parents or for the kids, okay? So for parents, it's because, 就是你去挑战你家那个牛娃的时候，对吧？你可以跟他说，来，你给我分一下这个 ，OK？ 那他分析完之后，你可以给他做一个 example，OK？Stuff like that，OK？ 其实我觉得这个也是一个同时 grow 的过程哈。那他看完之后，他就说 ，OK， 好，那我要分析的是什么？我要分析的可能是这个。那他可能会分析不到那么多东西，那你可能会跟他说哪些东西是要分析的。那这里面有哪些地方是比较能够让你话说的？我只是给几个我们上课的 example， 让大家可以看一下哈。那比如说这些，我们就会说，那我可能会让你去看一看这些说的是什么东西。他说的是什么？是 historical context, right? So for historical allusion， 我教给孩子，只要他提到过去的、以前的 ，OK，long time ago， 它都属于 historical allusion。那 historical allusion 的话，就你一定拿出来说说就好了嘛，对吧 ？OK， 你可以说 the writer used historical allusion to blah blah blah，OK。好，那么除了这个之外，你还可以说什么呢？你还可以说整个段落说的是什么东西呀，对吧？那么你还可以去指出了这样一个另外的一些现代的东西，对不对？然后你还可以跟他说第二段说的是什么内容。所以这样完了之后呢，你就跟他说，那为什么他先举古代后举现代呀 ？Contrast， 对吧？好，又多了一句。那 contrast 的目的是什么呀？是为了 support 这个观点 claim， 对不对？好，那又多了一句。OK， 那支撑的好不好呢？好还是不好呢？为什么呢？哎，又多了一句。这么一来的话，这就多了好几句了，是吧？得靠这种方式来往下走。OK， 我再给一个例子啊，这个例子比较小，也是给这个家长让大家去 have fun 啊，因为今天孩子不多哈。那么就这种句子，你看大家一读完就哗就读完了，对。然后呢，就是你让他分析，他就说，哎 ，the writer say something like that， 就是他总是会 focus 在 what the writer say，OK， 这是大部分孩子的问题。但是你一定要去放掉 what， 你要 focus 在 how they say it， 对。但是很多人都觉得这是一个痛苦的转型。How am I going to say how? Okay, I never think about how I say it. Why I think about how they say it, right? It's not my business, right? But you have to focus on how. OK， 那这是怎么说的呀？大家觉得这是怎么说？我考考你们。你发现这个老师特别 push 是吧？我上课就是这样的，我非常 push 孩子。如果有还想开叉的时候，这个都没有办法。我看着我，快看着我的眼睛 ，OK， 他就没有办法了 ，OK。好，那这个里面你会看着我的眼睛看一下，他到底说的是什么内容？还有哪些可以让你说一说的？好像没什么说，是不是？因为你还没有习惯 ，OK。所以你会发现说的很多呀，然后给他一些例句，对不对？说的很多呀，这些词儿都可以拿来嚼吧，是不是？因为我们知道 word choices。You always have things to talk about. There are so many words there. Pick some of them, okay? It's like, I have no idea what words. Okay, choose the one you know, okay? 就是选一些词说一说，然后呢去讲一讲就 OK 了。这也是一个这个例子哈，一个例子，用这个例子来给大家去说一说。因为我们上课会有很多的这个 source， 那每一个 source 都会让这种类型的方式。那这两个是比较 classic 的 example， 我就把它放到这里让大家看一看。那每一种的都是不一样的，但是几乎都是一个套路。所以说，在最后的一个月你要怎么办呢？就是把那些 source 拿出来，把你常用的东西写下来。比如说，一遇到 statistics， 它一般都是怎么写？一遇到这个 word choices 都是怎么写？你不能老说什么什么 words shows 什么什么，你不能这样说。你可以换一种方式，比如说 by citing blah blah blah， 然后怎么说？或者说the writer used blah blah blah， 然后怎么说？你用一些不同的 sentence structure， 你积累一些。所以真正到考试的时候呀，拿出一篇文章来读一遍，哗哗哗一画就开始写了。写完之后写点啥？不知道，反正也就全写完了。那个时候分数就已经不差了。OK， 就是它最重要的就是一个分析嘛。为什么？因为 College Board 的这个美国人改革也改得很逗哈。最早的时候那个作文，老作文的时候还是挺能反映这个个人的这个能力的，包括现在的 ACT 作文，对吧？我讲的时候都把很多孩子都讲哭了，你知道吧？不是说写不出来，是脑子都管不来那个劲儿。OK， 可是美国长大孩子更加单纯一些，他就不明白这个 A 辩论了 B，B 辩论 C， 然后绕来绕去，最后怎么就证出了个 D 来，对吧？就疯了。OK， 那这个时候你怎么办呢？你就跟他说，就说这种文章是最简单的。所以有人跟我说什么 ACT 就是比这个 SAT 简单，不是的 ，SAT 比 ACT 简单多了。你去看那些 ACT 的孩子作文都哭了，你知道吗？他 A 选项对吧？就问你这个要不要有这个 safety belt， 就是 seat belt。safety belt 能够帮人就是保持安全，然后这是第一个选项，第一个这个观点。第二个观点，不能要 safety belt， 因为我们是自由的，我们想干嘛干嘛，不能要 safety belt。第三个观点，政府应该为 accident pay 这个整个的这个就是这个 insurance 应该增加 insurance 保证人们安全。safety belt 不 safety belt 都无所谓。请问 choose 一个观点，然后论证另外观点的之间的关系。让孩子疯了，你知道吧？孩子说：“我明白，但是我就是不知道该怎么写。”说这是最难的。所以说，大家说今年的10月、11月、12月考这个 SAT 啊，一定是能出高分的，因为很容易啊。真正的 ACT 想这个作文出高分是有点困难的。OK， 所以说就别听那个网上啊或者各大讲座去讲这个什么 ACT、SAT 什么区别，没区别，都差不多。OK， 就看你比较擅长哪个，比较 enjoy 哪个。比较简单，准备充分就能考一个很不错的分数的，能够申请的，就是 SAT。OK， 那觉得我 reading 实在是提不上来，我想短期之内就是说把这个客观选项，但是我不 care 作文的分数，那是 ACT， 因为 ACT 的阅读比较简单一些，题目比较简单。OK， 像其他部分的话，就差异不是特别大。OK， 好，那么最后的话呢，我们想说的就是，真的是最后这一个月，对吧 ？Practice like a pro。OK， 希望大家能够。真的是抓着1个月的时间冲分。其实真正 SAT 准备时间啊，就3个月，多了也可以，但是没有必要那么累。OK， 少了实在不行，3个月。OK， 但是最后的 last month， 我们试的是建立在什么程度还不错，有一定的程度基础，但是呢还想最后再冲一把，因为最后1个月冲分是最容易的。那我敢保证，这1个月之后他可能后面就忘掉了，但是这1个月是一定能够让他增加他的熟练度 ，make sure 他能够在短期之内把这个分数再往上增一个瓶颈。所以说不要放弃哈，也不要老觉得我要往后无限推，你最往后推事儿越多，等到11年级、12年级，还有12年级才考的，我们东部有一个孩子12年级考就疯掉了。所以说最好的时间是在10年级的时候和11年级上半学期的时候把 SAT 全部搞掉，就是把这个痛苦留在前面，到后面其实还有更多的痛苦，但是你别告诉他，是吧？对，这个因为这个到后面的话，很多人都跟我说我是不是考完 SAT 我进大学我就 enjoy 了？我跟他说 SAT 就相当于这大学的感觉。你说为什么 SAT 这个就是要考大家？就是凭什么 SAT 一定要 training， 一定要去学，一定要去辅导？为什么呢？因为它不属于高中生 ，It's not for high school kids. It's not fair. 那是大学生的考试。它跟 GRE、GMAT 很像。如果家长咱们当年来美国时候考过 GRE、GMAT， 你会发现它的这个逻辑关系和出题是很像的。那他为什么要考孩子呢？因为他大学不想教呀，所以他得选一个就已经够大学格的人，直接进大学不就行了吗？是不是 ？That's the secret。你看，我们终于找到根儿了，是吧？所以说呢，就必须得把这个引起重视，这就是他将来大学的一个工作，就是大学就是。Read it very fast to get the main idea. Okay, you have so many book lists, do whatever. Okay, so yeah， 我们大家都知道，是吧？所以说这就是我们的一个要求。那么最后呢，可能会需要大家这个知道一个，这是我们的一个 slogan 哈，让大家就是打劲儿，就是说 其实离 SAT 考试只有966个小时了。但我不知道这个 accurate 有没有准哈，因为我们当时算的是这个样子的，数学老师需要再纠正一下。OK， 好，我们就是按小时算的哈。那么我们只需要48小时去真的让你去就是 work on， 就是我希望大家能够，如果能时间够的话，有时间把孩子就是放在这儿来进行一下这种强化模考。那么强化模考完，把错题 review 一遍，然后去考试。我希望不要就是说给孩子设定就是2次考试的时间，就考一次我再考一次，这次不行下次，千万别这么想。你这么着想，这次一定不行 ，OK？ 你就告诉他说 ，This is last chance, OK? You have to work harder. You don't want to spend your energy, expand your energy too much. You don't want to get exhausted, right? 好，最后一点也要注意，大家就是说，最后就说一句了啊，就说一句了，OK， 别着急。最后一句就是说，一定在考试的时候，先做简单的，再做难的；先做 interesting 的，再做不 interesting 的 ，OK？ 不要让自己在考试中太早的 exhausted，OK？Save energy. 4 hours. You have no idea what 4 hours mean. OK？ 我现在只讲了半个小时，你就觉得坐不住了。OK？4 hours， 这是拼体力的时候了，那个不是，就是脑力是一方面，体力是另一方面。所以说一定要习惯早晨就开始做，一直到晚上。其实是他们都说这个美国没有高考压力是吧？我就发现真是假的，这个压力比这个中国的高考压力还大。中国是全民一起，对吧？老师也天天讲，学校也天天讲，这是学校什么都不管，对吧 ？Counselor 会非常 nice 告诉你 ，You don't have to prepare， 对吧？对，然后呢，这孩子就是听他的话去了，不 prepare， 考了一个特别傻的分数，最后问 Counselor 我能去哪儿呀？我能不能去这个 Duke？ 我能不能去这个 Brown 啊 ？Counselor 说。Oh, I'm afraid you can't. 哎，你不是不用 prepare 吗？他说对呀，你不要给自己 stress。我觉得这个就是很矛盾。但是作为我们这个 Asian 的这个家长来说，我们应该就是心里都很清楚，是吧？所以说，就这个应试这段时间，鉴于他们之前都没有这个应试的经历，我觉得有点还是对人生还是很完整的一个帮助，是吧？让他们体会一把，这样还是很 lucky。所以说 focus on 1个月，然后把这事情全部搞定，后面就 enjoy。如果后面有这个申请大学需要这个 essay 这个修改或者是帮助，会再找我们，我们愿意跟大家进行这个 consultant 或者是交流，当然是 free 的哈，这个不用担心 ，OK 好。对，上次有家长来跟我们谈了半小时，问我收多少钱，我说不要钱，我说这个不要钱，我们就大家去跟沟通，去让就是真的能帮助孩子就可以了 ，OK。好，那我们时间就不再多说了，然后最后就是我们的一个 schedule 的问题，是2个课程的一个介绍，一个是 bootcamp class， 就是说需要一些 content， 就是我们暑假会有一些 content 的一些这个总结啊，一些这个提炼，我们会再次强化一下的，可能是第一个。那么第2个就是我们这个 mock test class， 这个就是说你每次来我就按照真的考你 ，OK？ 然后考完你之后，我就来看你的错题是什么，然后重新再给你 review 一下错题。对，就是联考，就是这是考，这是联考带讲，就是这样子，是这样来一个做。对吧？然后具体的一些细节的话，我们可以再跟 Dr. Yan 还有这个 Ed 还有我们可以接下来再去沟通一下。我特别热，我不知道你们热不热哈？反正我属于这个特别 passionate。OK， 好 ，Anyway， 这就是我们的一个介绍。最后的话，如果没加我的这个家长的话，可以加我一下我的微信。OK， 我今儿没戴眼镜，我应该把眼镜戴上，要不然不太像。OK， 好，这是我的微信，你可以扫码。然后如果没有在我们群里的话，也可以再加来群。那我们接下来的话，在秋季会再建立一个考前的